The annual report of the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, better known as SIPRI, published on 17th of June reveals worrying trends. According to the Swedish Institute, the number of nuclear weapons and the amount of development spending on them is on the rise again globally after decades. There are currently 9 nuclear powers in the world: United States, Russia, Great Britain, France, China, India, Pakistan, Israel and North Korea. In total, there are more than 12,000 nuclear warheads worldwide, although only around 9,500 of these are potentially usable. Why the rest are not, I will cover later in this video. Of these, according to SIPRI, 3,900 warheads are currently deployed ready for launch, of which 2,100 are on high alert. 90% of the global nuclear stockpile is held by the United States and Russia. The number of deployed nuclear weapons is increasing year on year, as is the number of weapons on high alert, while nuclear powers have launched new arms race and modernization race in nuclear weapons. What is the cause of all this and where it could lead is discussed in this video. I'm Anton Bednarzewski, Director of Economic Research Foundation, and this is our regular explanatory video series, Oecomment. Stay with me. To put what's happening in the world right now in perspective, it's worth looking at whether the 12,000 nuclear charges calculated by SIPRI are many or few. More than reassuring, but actually a fraction of that compared to the Cold War era. During the Cold War, the then Soviet Union and the United States engaged in a frenetic arms race, producing significant quantities of nuclear weapons year after year. Quantity became the yardstick for deterrence and military leadership, when in fact a few hundred nuclear warheads could destroy the Earth. At its peak, the global nuclear arsenal exceeded 70,000 nuclear warheads. 70,000! The US at its peak had 31,000 nuclear warheads. The Soviet Union at its peak of accumulation possessed more than 40,000. That is, in the 90s, there were about 6 times as many nuclear warheads worldwide as there are now. So nothing to worry about. The short answer is that it's premature to worry, but the trend that has started in recent years is certainly dangerous. I will explain the longer answer in the next few minutes. Towards the end of the Cold War, the two superpowers realized that, on the one hand, apart from the quantitative measurement, the vastly swollen nuclear arsenal did not really add much. A much smaller amount would be more than enough. On the other hand, the enrichment of uranium and the production of nuclear weapons is a very costly process, which it would be good to cut back. From the realization, a series of strategic disarmament treaties were born: the Anti-Ballistic Missile ABM Treaty of 1972, the Strategic Anti-Ballistic Missile SALT I and SALT II treaties, and the Treaty on Short and Medium Range Missiles INF. However, the START I and II and the New START have proved to be the most important in terms of nuclear disarmament. These laid down precisely how many nuclear warheads could be stockpiled on either side of the Iron Curtain, 6,000, and how many of these could be deployed, 1,550. As a result of this disarmament process, the two superpowers have destroyed thousands of nuclear warheads. But perhaps even more important than the concrete numbers was the control. To enforce the treaties, each side gave the other side the opportunity to visit and inspect its own military facilities on a proper number of occasions per year. In this way, it was possible to actually check how much was on one side and how much was it on the other. But all that is over. In the 2010s, Russia and the United States took turns to withdraw from the treaties that restricted them and allowed to be controlled. The New START, which was supposed to be enforced until 2026, lasted the longest, but Moscow eventually suspended its participation at the beginning of 2023. And what is the reason for the new nuclear rearmament? The main reason lies in the 1990s. In 1991, the Soviet Union collapsed, partly as a result of the arms race. The other counterpole of the Cold War bipolar world ceased to exist, leaving the United States as the sole dominant power. Under these winning conditions, there was no longer any point in further armament, either in increasing the number of nuclear warheads or in modernizing them. The other Western countries found themselves in exactly the same situation. The vast majority of the nuclear arsenals currently in existence around the world were built in the 60s and 70s, between 50 and 60 years ago. If you think that nuclear warheads will retain their shelf life indefinitely and will continue to operate smoothly for decades to come, you would be wrong. A number of different technical characteristics limit the operability of nuclear weapons. Firstly, the degradation of plutonium. The plutonium-239 nuclei used in nuclear warheads decay over time by alpha decay, releasing helium nuclei alpha particles. This process can damage the crystal structure of plutonium, which can affect the reliability of the nuclear reaction. Secondly, the aging of explosives. Conventional explosives in nuclear warheads which initiate the chain reaction also age. Aging can reduce the sensitivity and reliability of the explosive. Thirdly, the electronic systems of the charges. The electronics and firing systems in nuclear warheads can become obsolete or damaged over time. Initially, the shelf life of nuclear charges was set as roughly 30 years. This is how long it can be guaranteed with full confidence that the device will function properly when needed. With proper maintenance, this can be extended to 40 to 50 years, but it also depends on many other parameters such as appropriate temperature and humidity. If we think again of the age of international nuclear arsenals, it is easy to see that they are largely beyond their expiry date. That means they are unreliable and even dangerous. Meanwhile, the decades of naive Fukuyama-like peace have passed. It has been proven that the era of global peace has not arrived, and war is raging in Europe again after decades, with the potential to spread to other areas. The world has entered a period of great instability and turbulence, to which the international response was easily predictable: rearmament. And part of this is that the long obsolete nuclear arsenal, which is about to be decommissioned, must be renewed and modernized, because we must keep up with the times, otherwise our adversaries will overtake us and gain strategic advantage. This is where we are now. The process is unfolding before our eyes, and in a way it's logical. But the trend itself is worrying, and we should make common effort to avoid another decade of Cold War-like nuclear arms race with all its risks. Thank you for listening to me. If you enjoyed our video, please follow us on YouTube and our social media pages and read us on our website.